You ever find yourself feeling like insurance is an absolute scam? Every time you try to get a competitive bid for your business insurance when it comes up for renewal, it turns into a complete game and a complete cluster, you know what, and you kind of throw your hands up because it just doesn't work like anything else you buy. If that's you, stay tuned. In this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how the insurance on the business insurance side things distribution process works and why it's so convoluted and why it frustrates so many business owners. And then at the end, I'm going to kind of share with you an alternative approach that businesses are taking because of how, I guess you could say, broken the model seems to be. It doesn't work like anything else you buy. So stay tuned. What's up, guys? My name is Micah Salas. I'm been in the industry 15 years, helping mainly construction companies, but all different types of businesses basically understand how to buy insurance more effectively. Appreciate you checking out the channel. If you like my stuff, subscribe and give me a thumbs up. All right, let's get into this. So in the intro, I obviously shared probably what you're thinking if you're watching this video, just your frustration with how insurance works. It doesn't work like if you got to get a sub out your plumbing work, or some concrete. You call 3 subs, they all give you a different rate. You pick the lowest sub, right, or the one you have the best relationship with. But in insurance, if you've ever tried getting quotes from another agent in the past, you've probably realized that the process doesn't work like that, right? What typically happens is you have an agent that you work with. You call another agent because you say, hey, I just want to make sure we're getting a good deal, right? That's what I do on my other products I buy. The other agent comes out, maybe gathers a bunch of information, and one of two things happen. As they're asking for information, your current agent is kind of tipped off, and then what they do is go to the marketplace because out of maybe fear, right? Or maybe they're just doing their job. But then when this new agent you've been talking to tries to get quotes, they come back and say, hey, I can't get quotes. I'm blocked everywhere. And you're kind of like, what the heck, dude? That doesn't seem fair. On the flip side, maybe the new agent that you're talking to gathers the information. Your current agent doesn't get tipped off. They beat your current guy to the market. And then your current agent calls you back and says, what's up, man? Are you firing me? And you're like, no, dude. I'm just trying to check out the marketplace, get a quote or two. I didn't think it was a big deal. I love you. Your service is great. But either way, you're left kind of feeling frustrated because you just want to know, hey, man, am I getting the best deal out there? Right? So let's zoom out for a second. I want to share with you how the insurance distribution process, or I call it the insurance game, works in a really short amount of time. And I think understanding this, if you don't know it already, will make things a lot clearer for you. So in the US, I think there's like 2,000 property and casualty insurance companies, right? Companies that write business insurance. Out of those 2,000 companies, that pool starts to get really a lot smaller once you take into account things like your geography, your class of business, the size of business, and a few other factors. So that pool of 2,000 probably gets down to anywhere, depending on what you do, from maybe 2 to 3 insurance companies to 7 or 8 if you're lucky, that would even offer you a quote, right? So that's the first thing you got to know, is that there's not a pool of endless carriers out there. It's a less than 10 most likely. The second thing that's important to understand then is the insurance companies, right? And this is unlike personal insurance for your home and your auto, or health insurance if you've looked at that before. Those companies, the underwriters, will only work with one agent on any given year. They won't release multiple quotes to different agents. And the agent that they'll work with is the agent that sends in the submission first. The submission is the applications, the loss history, that whole side of things. So this goes back to the problem I was talking about earlier, where you try to get quotes and either your current guy is tipped off and floods the market, leaving maybe scraps for the new guy you're trying to get pricing from, or the new guy beats your current guy, and you have the whole drama situation. So because of that, it can be really, really frustrating, right? So just knowing that one thing alone should hopefully help give you more clarity. Now, you can be frustrated about that, angry about that. Maybe it's unfair, maybe it's fair, but that's just the way it is. There's no way around it, right? The other thing that's really important to know is how agents are paid, right? So the insurance carriers, they all sell through middle people, agents, right? So as an agent, you got to have a contract with the carrier, and uh, agents are just paid a commission. It's built into your premium. It's usually anywhere from 10 to 15%. Could be a little higher based on product line, but basically just say 10 to 15%. An agent's overhead should not be in your premium at all. Your premium is your premium. Now, if you're a larger account, you can go on a fee basis. You can strip out the commissions and go on a fee. I'm not going to talk about that on this video, but that's just how agents are paid. So, so again, you have the carriers, then you have the agents. The agents can sell any carrier that they have a contract with. But remember, I said that pool is about 5 to 10 carriers. So nowadays, what most carriers work with a lot of different agencies. So you as the buyer, when you're talking to 2 different agents, odds are there's a lot of overlap, right? Current agent might have these 4 carriers. The new agent, the other agent might have the same 4. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. Does it really make a whole lot of sense to bring in 2 different agents to go to the same 4 carriers? Because they won't even release a quote to 2 different agents anyways. So then you just got a whole mess in the marketplace. So I always say this: if I was a business owner, the only way I would really quote with more than 1 agent is if the other agent, if I'm unhappy with my current agent, right? Or if I'm happy with my current agent and there's another agent out there that has a carrier, a contract with a carrier my current guy doesn't have, and that carrier is maybe really good for my industry or whatever. That's the only reason I'd really ever get quotes with multiple agents. Otherwise, what a lot of business owners are doing because of this broken system, they're moving away from the quoting and the bidding model for various reasons. I'm going to make future videos on why that model actually doesn't serve you really well and why people going to just using 1 agent model are getting better pricing. But that's the model they're going to. They're just saying, hey, I'm going to treat it like if I'm selling a house. I'm going to pick 1 realtor, the one I trust the most, that has the best game plan, best service from what I can tell, best knowledge, and I'm just going to pick them and ride that horse, right? So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. That's basically the insurance game, right? And so the main thing, just to recap, is that there's not a ton of carriers that will even quote your business, maybe 10 at max. Those same 10 carriers work with a lot of the same agencies for the most part, as long as they have a contract with them. The agent's commissions just booked right in there. So overhead costs have no factor on your premium. And the underwriter, this is the most important, will only quote with 1 agent on any given year. So bringing in 4 or 5 different agents to divide up 5, 6 markets with just doesn't make a ton of sense. So anyways, that's the insurance game. That's a really important, this is really important information to know. This is the first thing I talk about with all my clients that I've been serving for the last 15 years, just to make sure we're on the same page, because I find about 50 to 60% of business owners don't really understand this concept. And you just stay in this vicious cycle that doesn't really yield any good results for you. So I have countless stories over the, like I said, the last 15 years, and especially the last 10 to 11, where I've really basically helped a lot of businesses understand this model. And then once they wrap their head around it, they change their whole approach to insurance. And on average, what my clients have seen is a 17% reduction, the ones who end up hiring me, right? Now, you might have a lot of questions. Hey, how can I just hire someone based on plans and all that stuff? And I'm going to put out future videos. This channel going forward, you might see some of my other videos where I try to explain what's GL insurance, what's inland marine. I'm kind of going to move away from that. Going forward, it's all going to be about how to buy insurance, right? How insurance works, how to buy it more effectively, and basically how to keep your agent accountable. Those are the kind of things that I'm going to talk about, because you don't have a ton of time to probably sit here and learn or even care to be an insurance expert. That's really ultimately what your agent's for. You need to know enough to hold them accountable, but it's not something that you need to spend your time doing. Okay, that's all I got for you. If you want to talk, if you're having any frustrations with your insurance, right? Just curiosity. Maybe you like your agent, but you have some curiosity. What else is out there? Am I overpaying? Am I overexposed? Is there something differently we could be doing? Let me know. My email and my cell phone number are in my comments, and I'm open to taking on new clients. Like I said, I've been doing this for 15 years. Primarily work with a lot of construction companies. However, I've worked with manufacturing, some restaurant, and some retail. But happy to talk with you and happy to see if we can help. Good luck.